Flatwork Bead Crochet 101. I'm Crochet Queen. It's a common belief that beads fall on the back of the work when you do bead crochet. With this unique method that I'm going to show you, you will be able to have beads on each row of your crochet. I'm starting with this demonstration using pony beads so that you'll be able to see the method. First of all, I will do bead back crochet. And this is, for those of you that already know bead crochet, is the usual way, and the beads fall to the back. Single crochet. Insert your hook in the stitch and pull the yarn forward. Then bring a bead close to your work and yarn over and finish the stitch. Insert the hook, bring the yarn forward, pull down a bead, and finish the stitch. I usually have between 1 to 5 beads between my finger and my work. For beginners, I would suggest you may only want to keep one there at a time until you get used to this. And you will get a rhythm going after you figure out how to use your hands and place your fingers. Then bring more beads down and continue across the row. Insert the hook, bring the yarn forward, bring down a bead, and lock it in by finishing the single crochet. It does get easier after you have a couple of rows done because you have more to hang on to. Now I have one row with the beads falling on the back. I will now do a chain 1 and continue in single crochet, but using the flatwork method. Insert the hook behind the yarn to start and into the stitch. Then bring the bead down and put the hook on top of the yarn and bring it through to the front. Adjust the bead, yarn over, and finish to lock the bead in. Once again, under the yarn and into the stitch. Bring the bead to the front, hook on top of the yarn, and bring it through to the front, and then push that bead next to the one you just finished, yarn over, and lock it in. These pony beads are quite awkward, but I like to use them so that you can see better. And in just a moment I will switch to size 8 beads. So once again, yarn under, hook under the yarn, bead forward, pull yarn to the front, and finish the stitch. Now I've completed this row with front bead single crochet, and I now have 2 rows with all of the beads falling onto the front. As the work progresses, these will tighten up, and with smaller beads and finer thread, it does look much better. With this method of flatwork bead crochet, you use a chart to make a design or a graph, and you can get work that looks like this. This is an example of very small delica beads, which have been created from a graph with a design just like is used in cross stitch. Now let's take a look at how this works with fine thread and size 8 beads. I started with a row of single crochet, chain 1 and turn, and now I'm going to do back bead single crochet. Pull down a bead and it's going to fall on the back. Go in, pull up a bead, and finish. This is called back bead single crochet. To start, you will really need a pattern that includes all the tips and tricks. And if you enjoy the method, then you can get into graphing your own designs. It's important to know that the last bead on your thread is the first bead onto your work. And so you would write your graph accordingly and then string the beads in order, counting every single bead you put on your thread. If you count very carefully, your bead crochet will be smooth and easy after all the stringing is done. It's just a matter of stitching, and your design magically appears because you've followed the graph and kept an accurate count. Again, with these fine threads and beads, it's a little awkward on the first row because you don't have much to hold on to. So I do recommend that you always start with back bead single crochet for the first row because it's a less awkward maneuver. Now I'm going to do a row of front bead single crochet. Same as I demonstrated before, my hook is under the yarn before it goes into the stitch. Then I bring down my beads and place one in front. Come over the yarn with my hook. Missed it that time. In to the stitch, bring the bead down, and bring the yarn forward. Push the bead over to the right a little bit. Now the next one goes into the very next stitch. Seem to be catching my thread, which is not good. Pull that down and bring my thread forward. Give the bead a little push next to the one before, behind, and into the stitch. I am using all one color beads on this demonstration, so you will not be seeing any design appear like the pin I demonstrated earlier. It'll just be 2 rows of nice colorful blue beads. Remember that you can use cross-stitch graphs that are already done for you, but they have to be very simple designs. Otherwise, your finished product will be very large. So keep it simple, especially when you're first learning. You can graph out your initials and then crochet them in beads. Or just about any small design that you wish. Almost there. Believe it or not, once you get a little more experience doing this, you'll get a nice rhythm, just like you do with your regular crochet. And you'll find working with beads to be very enjoyable. Like with anything, it takes some practice and just getting a feel for it and coordinating your own hand and hook. Using good crochet technique with the index finger up gives you good control of your tension, which at the same time helps you control the beads. So there you have 2 rows, 1 back bead single crochet and 1 front bead single crochet. This design that I showed you was published in Beadwork magazine in 2004, and I have another design that was published in Crochet magazine in 2008. So those are some patterns, if you have those magazines, you could use to get started. And as I showed at the beginning, in my Ravelry store, I have another new pattern for a Halloween pumpkin that I've just published. So give the technique a try and then be on the lookout for patterns or create your own. It will be lots of fun.